guys, coming at you with One Piece episode 954 review. And right off the bat, the first thing to obviously talk about is basically Yukimaru's backstory, or as we come to know him in this episode, Onimaru the Fox. And the interesting thing to know in this episode, and the interesting thing to know about this backstory that makes it so intensely emotional is the dynamics of play here. Because that pretty much everyone in Wano had basically struggled in their own ways in order to preserve the Odin's ideals and the values that they believed had pretty much made Wano so like peaceful and just a very peaceful country to begin with in the face of Kaido and Orochi's tyranny. Onimaru, in a similar fashion, had also dedicated himself in order to protecting his master's legacy left behind by the Shim Otsuki clan. But the difference being is that whereas the Yakuza 9 and Wano and the people of Wano had continued to move forward, Onimaru was in a lot of ways stuck in the past and felt trapped, and in some ways I think he felt trapped by his own failure in order to protect his master, and felt so compelled, and from that failure he felt so compelled to protect Ringo that it prevented him from accepting help from others because it was to him it was his burden to bear. He felt he needed to carry it alone. Yet by a single act of kindness on the part of Kawamatsu, as was pretty much seeing his conviction firsthand, that not only allowed Onimaru to start trusting again, but he found new purpose and new hope in life, which was to help the rebellion and keep hope for a better future for Wano alive by not only protecting all the grave swords, but also continuing to collect weapons from the bandits and the pirates that had become a prominent force throughout Wano, and stockpile them and from there he had been waiting for protecting these weapons for 13 long years, and because he was waiting for the day when Kawamatsu and the others would return, and when the revolution would actually start in order to save the country that Onimaru, like so many others, had loved so much. That to Onimaru, that was his way now of preserving Ushimaru's legacy. And I also like how the backstory also kind of plays a little bit into the final words of Dr. Hiruluk, believe it or not, from Drum Island, which is that men only truly die when they're forgotten, and neither Odin nor any of the daimyo of Wano, especially the daimyo of Ringo, were forgotten. Their spirits and their ideals were carried on through the pretty much samurai who continue to fight for pretty much Wano's freedom. Like that in the end it was in the end it's by remembering these great figures that allows Wano to continue moving on. So I love how it's kind of a play on that as well. Also, I love how with the reveal of the weapons and the coinciding report from Kinemon about the recruitment in Udon prison, events in this arc are continuously building on each other, all leading to the final battle, which in itself it's very typical One Piece story structure. But I think for me, one thing that makes this arc so great is that I feel it's the arc that basically utilizes this story structure of events like pretty much building on each other in the best way possible. Like other arcs have done this too, but I feel that this is the arc that is utilized the best, honestly, and I think it's because of what's driving it, honestly. Now, with that said, let's talk about the new sword that supposedly Zoro is going to get, which is one of Odin's weapons, the Meito Enma, and obviously, with this being one of the few weapons to actually harm Kaido, this immediately puts both it and this obviously puts it in this in the spotlight. On top of the obvious fact that in general, this now basically sets up Zoro to play a major role going forward in this arc. But in general, just hearing that name Enma, you already know that there's going to be some kind of catch with this new blade, and boy, howdy is there ever. In fact, I still stand by what I said in the manga that Enma as a sword does kind of tap into some kind of power that coincides with its name, on top of the other sword that we'll see. But for now, the fact that Zoro is getting a new sword, it shows that this arc is basically Zoro's arc. It's putting him in the spotlight. It's basically saying, yes, this is Zoro's arc, and this is where even if Luffy is the one to deliver the final blow, Zoro is still going to be the one in the spotlight and make the final blow, which I really like. Like I think honestly for pretty much as many moments, for as many badass moments as Zoro has had in this series, they're always kind of small, and they still always feel in some ways small but important. They're important scenes, but they always seem small in scale, and not really all that much, all that much serving to furnish his development in some way. Outside of that one scene in Thriller Bark, but this feels like an arc that's actually serving in order to develop him as a character, and just and push him forward towards actually reaching his goal of becoming the world's greatest swordsman, honestly. The more interesting thing, though, is looking back on this particular part of the series in the anime and the reveal of the Enma has got me thinking that even though pretty much Shiori is going to bequeath Enma to Zoro in exchange for pretty much leaving Shusui behind, I don't think Enma is going to be the sword that Zoro leaves Wano with. Like in the end, I don't think it's I don't think it's in the end. I don't think even Enma is going. What I'm saying is, I don't think Enma is going to be a permanent replacement for Shusui. I think it's just another temporary replacement for it. Because the reason that makes me think that is because, on top of the fact that I don't think. On top of the fact that it wouldn't just make any sense in order to separate the two blades you're about to see next week, I think it's just the swords we'll see. I think it's just one of those things where where the Enma in itself, the Enma as a sword, she just kind of feels like it's being built as a sword that's just going to that's meant to defeat Kaido, but nothing more than that. In fact, unless I'm proven wrong in the end, I think we've already seen Zoro's replacement for Shusui, and it was shown very early on in this arc, believe it or not, and it was wielded by the most unlikely person, Luffy. Yeah, I'm sure everyone can understand where I'm going with this already. Like I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive that the sword that we're going to see Zoro like pretty much wield going forward beyond Wano is going to be that Nidai Katetsu again. Again, I could be wrong, but I don't think the series would have drawn attention to that specific sword so early on, unless there wasn't a plan of some kind or some kind of payoff for it. And honestly, what better payoff would there be for what was essentially the predecessor to the current Katetsu sword that Zoro's wielding, than for Zoro to leave Wano wielding like both the pretty much Nidai Katetsu and the pretty much Sandai Katetsu, like two pretty much cursed Katetsu blades, which and for anyone wondering how Zoro's going to wield this sword, I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be pretty much Hitetsu is going to gift it to Zoro for possibly saving Wano. Like when you really look at it, it just kind of all fits. Like it's these little it's the way this could play out right now that's making me say that I don't think Enma is going to be the sword that he's going to be leaving Wano with. I think Zoro is going to leave Enma here, and he's going to take Nidai Katetsu with him. I think it all makes sense in my mind for some reason right now. But yeah. But that's all I got for this review, guys. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Enemy, signing off. Later, guys.